my gosh, I love this book so much! Hey guys! We are in our last video of Gemina, section 8 of the book. Oh my gosh! That means I finished reading it and I absolutely loved it. For this video, I'll do a recap, I'll answer some questions about the ending of the book, and just talk about my overall feelings about the book. So starting with the recap, so we bring back Aiden from the last book, the AI system that was on the Alexander, I believe, that got destroyed in the first book. But Katie apparently kept it on her data pad. And remember, as we find out from section 7, that the whole universe is basically going to collapse. Aiden comes in and he's like, I could probably fix this. Now remember, he was like antagonist, kind of, in the first book, so people don't trust him. But he gains their trust, be like, hey, you're gonna die either ways, might as well let me try. They have to basically, all objects from universe B that are in universe A, and all objects that are in universe A that are in universe B, they have to cross over at the same time. The dead Nick from universe B is in universe A, and the alive Nick from universe A is in universe B. So they both have to cross the wormhole at the same time. Aiden, he messages both Hannah and Nick and tells them the plan while everyone who didn't die in Heimdall in universe A, and Hannah tells them to get on the Mao, while Hannah has to bring dead Nick's body in the Betty bot ship thing. It becomes a parallel story. It looks like this. This is everything Hannah is doing in universe A, and this is everything Nick is doing in universe B. You can see they're literally like doing the exact same, they're like very similar things. Along the way, they have to kill like more biotech people. Our man Falk ends up dying, and they end up meeting each other, and the way like the author wrote it with the parallel stories, I really loved it. Remember when how Travis died? So in the fight, he ends up shooting the computer. Since the controls were shot, someone has to manually close it after everyone leaves. Jackson Merrick, thinking about what Hannah told him earlier about how actions are more important than words, he tells Ella, Hannah, and Nick that they can all leave and that he would close the wormhole. And that's the recap of the last section. Oh my gosh. It ends with the tribunal of the United Terran Authority saying, Hannah, that's kind of like a great story, but since the wormhole from Heimdall was destroyed and Hypatia was by itself, how did you leave? And she goes, that's a whole nother story. And that's where like the third book comes in. Now that I've given a summary of the book, I will be answering questions. I'll answer some questions about the ending of the book and just talk about my overall feelings about the book. So now I'm going to answer a couple of questions about the book. So the first question is, do you think the ending was appropriate? How would you have liked to see the ending go? I did think the ending was appropriate. I might have liked a couple of more scenes with Nick and Hannah, and they kind of like didn't really have an interaction at the end. I'm satisfied with the ending. It left on a cliffhanger, which I don't like, but I understand like the purpose of the cliffhanger, and it compels me to want to read the next book. Have any of your views or thoughts changed after reading this book? I hate Jackson Merrick now. I liked him, then I hated him. Now I like him again, and I don't know how I feel about him. I feel like he is the most complex character out of the whole book because he like betrayed Hannah, but then he loves her, and then he like ends up saving her at the end. I'm like, buddy, what is going on with you? View-wise, that's pretty much it. There wasn't much content in the story to like change my views about anything other than increase my hatred for snakes. The next question is, what do you think will happen next to the main characters? In the next book, what I'm hypothesizing is 1 or 2 more characters, maybe even more. Somehow, their conflict and events, maybe halfway through the book, they'll end up meeting Hannah, Nick, Katie, and Ezra. The new characters will meet all 4 of them at the Hypatia, end by tech forever, and expose them to the world. And that's it for the questions. So, final thoughts on the book. I absolutely loved it. And it literally ends a similar way as the first one does, with like a kind of cliffhanger kind of thing, like, hey, this is only the beginning. Obviously, like with this book, there isn't a lot of character development. Even though the book is really long, it has to focus on so many different characters because it's a bunch of files and you can't really get much character development after that other than like conversations between people and what you can infer about someone. You kind of get a rounded character, but knowing a lot about a certain character is tough. In order for the story to work, they have to get it from multiple people's perspectives, which makes the book so long because you have to consider all the point of views, and because they're like taking in so many characters, you don't get to spend a lot of time with the characters. I still feel like there's so much to all the characters in the story. All I get to know about the Bitech people is that they're bad guys and they die. In that sense, I feel like I would have liked to get to know the characters more, but the story was better, like plot-wise. The story is better in fast pace, so getting to know the characters would leave the story at a slower pace, and I don't know if I would have enjoyed that as much. I realized some stuff when I was reading the ending. Remember how I stated that all the objects from Universe B had to go back to Universe B from A? But I remember Universe B Nick, he had a pack of cigarettes that he like threw. Then he also had a gun with the bullets and he like shoot. So I mean, technically, all of that's from Universe B. The cigarettes and everything else are still there in Universe A. However, the wormhole didn't collapse on itself. Like, the universes didn't get destroyed. That's like one small thing that the authors like didn't point out. But I caught that. After reading this book, I so badly want to go to the library and get the last book and just like read it. So this summer, I'm gonna read the last book. I guess this is it for my feelings about the book. I mean, I highly recommend going to read this series. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I guess I'll see y'all later because this is the end of the series. Bye!